Okay, we are here to present on State of the Farm for the custom crops operation. I'm Dave again.
Nate.
Morgan. Jenna.
The purpose of the custom crops is to keep our relationships up with the custom work that we do, whether it's, well, all of our custom work is actually done through the university because we are not allowed to compete with private entities outside a university. So all of our custom crop and tillage work that we do is done for the university itself. So what we're going to do is just explain to the class the current state of the farm for the custom crops and what we've done so far this early summer and what our short and long-term goals are. So in the past, from looking back in our binder at the past classes, the big thing that keeps coming up over and over is looking at expanding custom work for the 450 farm. So, so far this summer we have built out the custom work that we did this spring, which was mostly at the end of the spring semester and then during the break before we started our summer classes. So what we did, our custom rates for 2011 for planting were $14.80 an acre. For the equipment that we have with no row shutoffs or anything, that number will go up with the more technology we use. But for what we run right now, we're charging $14.80 an acre. For field cultivating, it's $11.45 an acre, and we actually ran over almost 4 times the amount of acres with field cultivator that we did with the planter. So as you can see, we did 541 acres custom with the planter this year and 2,290 acres of field cultivating. Some of those were two passes on the same field. So right now that's where we stand. Those planting and field cultivating acres have been billed out already. The finance committee has copies of the invoices, and we're still waiting for animal science, I believe, and we got some V-ripping that we did for them also that we're waiting to bill out. We're waiting to get the numbers back, the acres, and then we're going to bill that out as soon as we get that. So that's where we stand right now as far as that's concerned.
As far as strengths and weaknesses go for the custom crop operation, we like to think that we work very well with the clients that we have. As you said, the university is who we do our work with. We like to think that we're very accountable, we're a reliable source for them to come to, that they can count on us doing the work the way they want it, and it's going to get done in a timely manner. And we also, as mentioned with the machinery, we have very efficient equipment in order to do the custom operations. It's all very well upkept. Now as far as weaknesses go, with the custom crop, we have no consistency with different labor, and by that we mean every semester we're bringing in a new group of students, and some of them have ran equipment before, some of them haven't, so there really isn't that consistency with the operators on the machinery. As Dave said, that we're restricted just in university land, and that's the only thing we can pick up. We also have labor restrictions, and as we mentioned, we have no land security. As the machinery pointed out, we've lost out on acres because we didn't have row shut off, and that's just a sign, or that just shows what we mean by no land security. As far as goals, obviously our short-term goal that we want to get done, and most of it, what we've mostly got it done, is with finishing of the plane, and we want to get everything built out. The second part of the building needs to go out still. That's our short-term goal for right now. Now, a long-term goal is this also can go in with custom livestock, but maybe possibly getting back into beef cattle. We think that it could be very useful as far as an educational tool to the students. Come out here and actually run a beef operation. We want to also continue building our relationship with our clients around the university, make sure we look respectful in their eyes, so that way they have that image of the 450 farm. And we want to touch base with some of the research farms that are already getting done for the next couple of years. We wanted to start touching base with them to hopefully have the opportunity once the research projects end that we could possibly pick up a few more of their acres. So that's our long-term goals as far as the custom crops go. And now we're ready for questions.
You guys said, going back to the custom part, the billing, we, charge $14.80, that's for planting, right?
Yep.
Do you guys know any figures, like how much we could bump up to with the shut off?
Right now, we run on the average, state average for all of our custom operation as far as field work. Now, I want to say, we have a sheet, the ag decision sheet. I don't know the exact figures.
I think it's like $1.50 an acre more.
I just learned something like that because between going up acre on custom work and then also the seed that we brought up, just actually, you know, how much more money we could be making.
Or savings.
Or savings.
Yeah, well, we can market that, you know, with you guys as seed savings, to them, if they're going to be like a crop share where you're sharing the cost of the seed or they're buying the seed or whatever, and you're crop sharing the rest. Seed savings, as Kyle said, he's seen 10 to 15% seed savings. And I've also had in my job, had some people tell me without those overpopulated areas and point rows, you also can get a 5% yield increase too. So there's more money to be made there too when it comes to harvest, so.
So we can't do any work for like private farmers or anything like
Nope.
that? Just university?
That's our huge restriction, as we point out. We cannot compete with the private sector, as in we can't just go to, say, Joe Farmer down the road and say, we wanna maybe do custom harvesting for you guys. We're not able to do that. We can only go within the university limits.
So even if Joe Farmer approached us to do it for him, we couldn't do it?
Nope.
No, yeah.
That's just a university restriction.
That's a university restriction, and it's been brought up in our book before that they wanted to look into it, and I think they had a meeting, but they just said that's the way it's going to be, and it's not going to change. So
That's one reason we, as Greg and Tom have brought up cattle and reintroducing cattle to the 450 farm has been talked about, mentioned for the last couple of years, or maybe even more than that. And Greg informed us that there is possibly a grower up the road, an older gentleman who would be interested in selling land as well as it's got a feedlot on it, or all the cattle feed bunks and everything on it already, to us. So it may be feasible to look at possible land purchase with that, and then that would get us back into home facilities to do some custom beef cattle.
and that goes kind of what we were talking about, touching base with just getting out there and touching base with people, and that's one guy we wouldn't mind maybe discussing, getting with them and discussing and talking to them, just to build a relationship that if the opportunity did pop up in the future, that you can remember that, to look at us and everything, so.
And those facilities are 3/4 of a mile away from here, so in the past, it was a hassle to drive clear in North Ames to check cows and stuff, and so that might be a little more convenient for the workers as well as the students too, so that's where we are with that.
So we had 540 acres of planting and almost 2,300 acres of field cultivating. How does that compare to the last couple of years of
We've actually
custom?
lost acres in planting and gained acres in field cultivating, if I remember right.
That sounds right.
There's some research projects on some of the land use plans, so
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
university gets to do what they want with their land, so.
Did you analyze the maybe not, but the labor hours? I know we're a lot more efficient with that new field cultivator and then the new ripper too.
No, I didn't look at any, like how many hours of field cultivating was done, just acres.
Yeah, you probably don't have a good handle on last fall's ripping acres either,
I don't know if that was recorded, I don't know.
but, oh
the
yeah,
hours
we've
were.
got it.
Okay.
Do you know what the total amount of custom billing you sent out the other day, that might be a nice thing to add to your report as an
Yeah,
after fact.
somewhere right around $30,000. 22,260 for field cultivating and $8,008 or something like that for.
And we still have the animal science stuff to
Yeah.
fill out, so. we can figure it out. But that's a rough estimate, how much money we got we'll have coming in.
This isn't a question, I would go back and add that to your report, just so it's there for the next year. And the other thing I would add to your report is that document that we put together week and a half ago, that lists what all of our custom operations are, so we know which fields are custom that we're dealing with and what the arrangements are. So between you and crops, that needs to be real clear for the next group, what's custom, and they've got what our rental agreements, crop share agreements and all that, but you guys should probably have what our custom acres and agreements and fields are. I think it's all in that one document, so.
As I say, I think we've got a breakdown.
You could both add that into your reports, I think would be important.
Any other questions?
All right, good job, guys, gals.